Garden Tour, July 19th, 2010. Start with the sunflowers. They're about 6 feet tall now. And we'll move around. You can start to see the corn. There's about 2 different plantings, and we'll get another set of corn here in a little bit. These are the potatoes that are doing pretty well all along here. Behind in the green, as you can see, this is basically the bindweed, which now that the plants have got enough head start, we're not too worried about getting them. We may hit them with a torch or two here later in the season. These are my blueberry plants, which were an experiment, and they don't seem to be doing too well. I think they may need water. We haven't had water in about 12 days. It's supposed to rain tonight. So blueberries aren't looking too good. At least these are the same species. There's 3 different species, so I don't know. Not looking too great, but not everything does well. And we'll cruise over here. Get kind of a wide shot. This is the corn, the sweet corn. It's looking pretty good. Got quite a few rows of that. We had some crows that came in and took out our first plant, half of our first planting, or probably 2/3 of our first planting, so we did a second planting. That's looking pretty good. You can see in here, these plants right here are all tomatoes. And this section of tomatoes is actually volunteers, so they just replanted themselves from last year. And I gotta be careful when I'm walking, so I don't walk on some of our stuff here. But this row here that starts at this post and goes all the way down are all tomatoes that were planted in the greenhouse and then transplanted. You can see they're starting to come through here. These are the Romas. They should be ready in about a week. You can also kind of see the corn. If I can zoom in real quick. We're starting to get some pretty good looking ears there on the corn. Let me zoom back out. And as you can see, there were places where the corn grew that we were supposed to have a row here of corn, but we went ahead because of the crows and planted tomatoes in there. So they're looking good. So we left a few of the ones that were still up. Here you can see these are asta la pasta, or our spaghetti squash. We definitely have some growing in here that we're not picking right now because these are fall squash and they will take a while, and you can see with my hand how big these suckers are. And this is all full. This is starting to look a little wilty right now just because, like I said, we haven't had rain in about 12 days. Moving off here, this is corn that we did an experiment with that we decided to try transplanting. We did have soybeans here. They were eaten by the crows, and we think that the crows figured out that there were holes in this black plastic and they just went along and picked out all the soybeans. So next year what we probably want to do is cover these things with some kind of a cage to keep them off the soybeans. But you can see the transplanting of the corn did pretty well. We'll see how they do later in the year. Here's a green pepper plant that I purchased a while ago. It's doing pretty good with green peppers. These are our strawberries right here. They're doing okay, not so great. The rabbits seem to be enjoying them. And then this is a squash, as you can see. Actually, these are gourds. Sorry, not a squash, but a gourd. They're ornamental, and you can see they're doing pretty good. And then if you can see here, these are our watermelon, and it is mixed in with some of this bindweed. But if you look closely, I'll get over here. Hell, you don't have to look closely. These are our watermelons that are actually kicking butt this year. We didn't have anything last year. You can see that's about the size of that's a pretty good size. Kid's head, I guess. So we've got quite a few of them growing in there, and see one there. So we mixed, I'll move around here, we mixed cliff sand when we planted, or just sand with the dirt. So that's what the watermelons seem to enjoy. This is basil. It is going to seed, as you can see. I need to start just picking these off so it'll continue to produce. But haven't done that in a while. At least a couple days. Lettuce is starting to get really tall. we've picked out as much as we could. It starts to get really tough and bitter after you've cut it down so many times, because when you cut it down and then it continues to grow this way. Some easy serve lettuce, same thing with that. Here's our beets. They're doing really well. And coming along here you can see our carrots that we planted, and they're doing pretty well. I picked one the other day. We mixed these in with sand, with the dirt as well. And last year we had carrots that looked like a crumpled up hand because they couldn't get through the soil. And this year they're definitely straight down, so they look pretty good. Here's some of our honey bun hybrid cantaloupe. They're coming along. You can see the flowers that are on them. These are kind of a bushy one, so we don't see any cantaloupes yet, but they will start coming with these flowers. And then here there's some Isabella melons, and they've started to branch out and they're looking pretty good. And these are gourds up through here. And there is actually interestingly enough, a watermelon decided to be a volunteer. This is watermelon. We had planted watermelon last year, and then there's one right there. And these are the watermelon leaves, you can see. They're mixed in with the gourds. So just went ahead and let that go. Not a big deal.